Live, local talk every weekday morning on FM 102.1, AM 1230, and streaming everywhere.
Scott Miller on your radio. I'd like to welcome back to the show Senator Dick Durbin. Good morning, Senator.
How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing all right. Hey, let's start out with the No King's Day protests around the country. I support the right to protest. I think your voice should be heard. It's clear a large sector of the United States doesn't care for the way the president is leading the country, just like there was a large sector of the United States that didn't like the way the President Biden or Obama ran the country. After seeing the large protests, where does that leave us? Has anything changed? Will anything change?
I don't know the answer to that, but I was at possibly one of the largest gatherings in the nation in Chicago. I can't tell you how many were there, tens of thousands. I made it clear in the short statement that I made to them this had to be a peaceful protest, no violence. And to my knowledge, there was no violence. You know, as far as I was concerned, when this is all over, this is about voter registration and the next election. That's the orderly constitutional process.
I feel as if no matter who is in office, the other side just uses that 4 years to state the case as to why during the next election there needs to be a change. If your person doesn't win, all you're going to do is complain about it. Is that the brass tacks of it all?
Well, that is one interpretation, but I am not that negative. I think people wait to see what a president does. And I could go through the long list of where I think this president has fallen short after many pretty serious promises. I'm sure people on the other side don't see it that way at all. I'm a Democrat and proud of it. I want there to be a strong Republican Party, and I think when the two parties work that way, we get our best government.
You're not going to be on my show for the next 3.5 years. You're retiring. But every other elected official that is on the opposite side of the president is going to spend the next 3.5 years joining me on this show saying everything that the man is doing is wrong. And the same thing would happen if Joe Biden was in office. We would have spent 3.5 years, and the Republicans that join me on the air would just tell me for the next 3.5 years everything that man is doing wrong. Don't you think that all plays a role in some of the vitriol in America?
Yes, I definitely do. And I think that we have to, myself included, be more open and with the public in terms of our bipartisan cooperation. Let me give you an example. Chuck Grassley, a senator from Iowa, is my chairman in the Senate Judiciary Committee. I think Chuck, if you ask him point blank, microphone in front of his face, what do you think of Durbin, would say he's not a bad guy. We get along, and we work on things together. There are things we disagree on. I could go through a long list, but, my relationship with him is a positive, friendly relationship, and I'm looking for ways that we can work together. I think that's what the people in Illinois are looking for, a senator who believes in his values but is willing to work with people to try to solve problems.
All right, let's talk about the one big, beautiful bill. It passed in Congress. It's now in the Senate. What changes are you seeing happening to this bill now that it's up to the Senate to make the next move?
Well, we just got the report yesterday, and it troubles me. I have said the bottom line for me, as it is for Josh Hawley, Republican Senator of Missouri, is the impact this bill is going to have on individual families and on downstate rural hospitals in Missouri, in his case, in Illinois, in my case. I talk to hospital administrators every week about the situation. They are frightened because many of them are on the edge of closing their doors. Do you know what that means to a downstate community? I'm sure you do, Scott. I mean, it is not only a big source of the economy and jobs, but it's also quality health care. And if you want to keep a business or attract a business, you better have a hospital nearby. And if we start losing them downstate, and the administrators are fearful of that, it's going to hurt our economy, and it's going to hurt the quality of life for a lot of families.
Okay, another big topic is DOGE. Elon is gone. There was a separation there in the Oval Office. The goal was to cut wasteful spending. Did Elon get the job done?
No. He promised that he'd cut $2 trillion. And that was an unrealistic promise. and after several months he realized he would have to get the courts to agree with him that he could violate the law, and they didn't. In the meantime, Elon Musk's sales of Tesla cars were not going so well. Let me tell you what it cost us in the process. 40% of the federal investment in medical research. That is the dumbest thing I've ever run into in politics, and I've been around it a long time. The notion that we would cut back that dramatically in medical research, the notion that we would announce that we're not open for business for foreign students to come to the United States. What is the message to the rest of the world? Those are two messages that are going to hurt us in the future if we hang on to them moving forward.
Well, don't you worry, though. You know, you've got Rivian in the state of Illinois, right up the road from my radio station. If bad things happen to Elon and Tesla, don't you think that trickles down to Rivian when it comes to universal chargers? I mean, Elon's leading the way with electric vehicles. Rivian is staying the course, but they're connected. There's a through line there. Doesn't that worry you?
Absolutely does. This whole notion that we don't have to worry about extreme weather conditions, how the climate is changing in this world, be responsive so that our kids and grandkids have a safer place to live than we currently have, involves solar power, wind power, electric vehicles. We were moving forward on that, and this administration, hey, Scott, you just got to be honest about it. They're walking away from it. In fact, they're saying we want nothing to do with it. It's drill, baby, drill. We don't care about the future when it comes to the environment. That's wrong. Rivian is the future, and I am proud of the fact that they've chosen Central Illinois to be their home base. I've talked to them during the course of this whole conversation about tariffs, and they're worried, as a lot of businesses are worried. What does this mean? For example, there's critical chemicals and minerals that are part of the Rivian production. 96% of them are in China. If we're in a battle with China, a trade battle with China, and doing no business with them, it is dangerous and threatening to the future of Rivian and the people who work there.
Senator Durbin, if Elon did a bad job, where would you say we can cut? Where can cuts happen? Because we both know there is government waste. Where would you point to a place where cuts can happen?
Well, across the board, I would say that's the right approach. Every single agency, including the ones that I like the most. Sure, let's ask the hard questions about medical research, but eliminating 40% of it, for God's sake, that is going to take researchers. I've talked to universities that tell me this. Their researchers are being offered big money in Europe and in China to go there and let them lead the world, and the United States steps aside. That makes no sense whatsoever. And I'll tell you this, the Department of Defense is critical for the future of our country. I applaud the 250th anniversary of the Army. But a $45 million parade? What in the world's going on here? We're cutting medical research for military men and women in the service when we find out there are things that they have been exposed to that are bad for their health, mentally and physically. To cut that and then to have a $45 million parade, I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
President Trump has ordered ICE to expand its deportations to Chicago and other Democrat-led cities, but the president has paused raids on farms, hotels, and restaurants. Are you happy with this move?
Absolutely, because I'm hearing from the same people that his people are hearing from. You know, some 40% of the agriculture workers in America today, 40% of the migrants, are here out of legal status. You know what that means? They're undocumented. They could be deported on the spot. And you ask our farmers, people who own orchards, dairy farmers and stuff, they need workers desperately if they have any kind of future at all. So, yes, I listen to that, and I think it's moving in the right direction. I agree completely with the premise that if someone is dangerous in this country, they should be deported. Amen. But this notion of deporting huge sums of people in the hopes that we'll catch the bad ones in the process is just plain wrong.
Before I let you go, I haven't spoken to you since the new pope was selected. Are you upset that a White Sox fan is now leading the Catholic Church?
I went to the ceremony on Saturday. It was interesting, and Cardinal Cupich of Chicago was there. I think this Pope Leo is a good man, and I hope he can lead the church in the right direction to help the world and the United States.
Senator Durbin, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Scott.
It's FM 102.1 and AM 1230 WJBC. Good morning.